Fiberglass makes a great electric fence post. Insulated, resilient, durable, and inexpensive. But the plain fiberglass post can be improved upon. Here is the arrow post. Let's take a closer look at this plastic sleeve and what lies beneath to see what transforms a plain fiberglass post into what we believe is the world's very best electric fence post. The most obvious feature are these barbed wings that are designed to fold out when the arrow post is being pulled up. Primary and secondary stabilizing blades, along with the barbed wings, make the arrow post reluctant to shift sideways and extremely resistant to lifting out of the ground. So, if you want the ultimate performance from the arrow post, it pays to trigger the wing fold out. Here's how. In order to plant and extract arrow posts, you need to use an arrow rammer. This special tool is used to drive the arrow post into the ground until the plastic sleeve is submerged. Then, unless the ground is very soft, it is used to jack the post back to the targeted height. When jacking arrows out of the ground, place one hand on the jacking arm and the other at the top of the post. Help the extraction motion by flexing the post away from you slightly as you lift. The extractor jaws should be repositioned after each pull. Feed the post up through the jaws with lots of small lifts rather than a few big ones. Now to demonstrate how the plastic sleeve of the arrow post dramatically enhances post stiffness. Windy or hilly fence lines require stiffer posts to take on the extra weight force of the wires when they change angle. Hanging the same weight on an arrow and a plain post shows that the arrow can take on significantly more weight strain than its plain post counterpart. There is just over 6 kilos of weight hanging off of these posts. With sideways strain and movement, plain posts cut through the ground, making it very easy to pull them out. Getting the arrow post to slice through the ground around its base is very difficult, and because of those triggered wings, it won't pull out. In fact, it can sometimes take a force equal to 1/4 of a ton to pull out an arrow. That is why there is a need for the specialized extractor unit on the rammer. It has a 5-to-1 leverage advantage, which certainly eases the job. The amount of earth disturbed here shows the ferocity of an arrow post grip. Arrow posts are reusable. Now let's go to the shed for another little test. Under pressure, plain posts can break at ground entry point when the land is very hard or frozen. To demonstrate, the vise here is acting like hard ground, the stress raiser. Bending the arrow post around on itself has no effect, and the post returns to its normal state by virtue of its tapered sleeve. Let's repeat the same action with a normal post. Now knowing what punishment an arrow post can take, where are they best used? Arrows can be used in any normal electric fence line, but can better allow for some unusual activities. Adapted quads or irrigators can cross unrestricted with the right fence setup. Farm tracks are a high impact area where animals are often a bit stressed and can be crushed against the fence by others in the group. An electric fence utilizing the tough arrow post can withstand any rough treatment. There are 2 arrow post lengths, the standard length of 1.25 meters and the longer length of 1.4 meters. We will use the long arrow post here for added security against animals jumping. The arrow post rammer can be used for any length of post up to 1.6 metres tall. When changing post length, a quick change of the spacer captured in the top end of the rammer is required. The longer the post, the shorter the spacer. Farm tracks often have compacted stony verges, so we need to use the arrow post pilot to pre-form a hole before planting the post. Note that the primary blades are always planted in line with the fence to get maximum rigidity and flexibility. As we drive the pilot down, it will often wander offline as it hits larger stones underground. We can use the rammer as a lever to bring the pilot back online, but it is essential that the rammer is right down on the pilot. Do not lever against the thin shank of the pilot. The pilot should always be driven in up to the hilt. To get the pilot out, we latch onto the rammer with the pilot's chain, yanking the rammer up. It only takes a few pulls to free the blade. The pilot hole just formed is slightly smaller than the profile of the plastic arrowhead. This design is to ensure that when the arrow post is driven into the ground, it will jam tight. In compacted stony ground, it is not always necessary to trigger the arrow post wings. If unsure, plant the arrow up to the secondary blades and then test for hold. If the post is not quite straight, or if it needs firmer support from the ground, you can use the top of the rammer to tamper the ground around the post, truing it up and creating firmer support. A plain fiberglass post in this hard stony ground will be subjected to a stress raiser at ground level. An arrow post with its tapered sleeve does not have a stress raiser and is far less likely to be damaged. The arrow post is perfect for fencing off irregular farm features like a stream bank or bluff. The greater stiffness of arrow posts compared to plain fiberglass posts makes them the better choice for taking on the side loadings created from bends in the fence line, provided you use light gauge high tensile wire. The wide fins on the arrowhead also provide a large load-bearing surface to prevent movement of the post through the wet, soft soils characteristic of these areas. Most importantly, the aggressive grip provided by the anchoring fins prevent the post from coming out of the ground. The fact that the arrow post can be easily uprooted and relocated with the special rammer means that the fence line can be adjusted readily. This is often necessary on these irregular boundaries because of erosion and growth of large vegetation. Arrow posts are ideal for use in hilly terrain. The extreme grip of the foot means that it can withstand the downward and upward forces resulting from wire tension. It will not be pushed into the ground if on the brow of a hill, or pulled out of the ground if in a dip. These same attributes make the arrow post ideal for sandy soils. Where normal fiberglass posts and even wooden posts will sink, move, or pull out, the arrow post will stay right where it was planted. Coupled with the Kiwitech wedge clip that won't rust in salt air, the arrow post is an ideal solution for coastal areas.